New Year, same season. Ozone, season 2. New Year, same season. City stay frozen. Big apple pressure when you step in the ozone, man. Jets, Knicks, Giants, pinstripes, orange and blue. Whole city locked in, yeah, they tuned in too. Press play, turn it up, yeah, the tone stay polling. If it's New York sports, welcome to the ozone. Welcome to the ozone. Same city, New Year, same pressure, new tone. New York, boys loud, it's the ozone. Yeah, New York outside again. New Year, same season. Ozone, season 2. Let's go.
You have entered the ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We are here. You guys are officially into the ozone. It's your boy Omar. And what I guess 3. I was going to say 3. What a week it's been. But it's only just been a few days with you guys. Guys, we got a jam-packed show. So much to unpack today. The World Baseball Classic has concluded. We don't know who the winner is as of this recording, but we'll talk about it. But bigger things to worry about. We're going to discuss the DR versus the United States, arguably maybe the greatest World Baseball Classic game ever played. Maybe one of the best games we've ever seen. Is the World Baseball Classic more important than the World Series? That's something we got to discuss. You got big-time players ruffling the feathers of certain fan bases when it comes to that conversation. New York Knicks, a lot has changed in the few days that we've been on. Rotation, some pivotal players are not getting crunch time minutes. We got to discuss that. And it's talking wrestling, baby, because AEW put a phenomenal show out this weekend with their pay-per-view Revolution, and we got to cover it. And you know who I'm covering it with? The best co-host in the business, super producer Dave. Brother, it's a new week. How we feeling?
Brother, first of all, let's give our flowers to AEW for putting on a banger.
Banger.
I got my money's worth. Though I didn't pay for the pay-per-view. Thank you for alternate services. But, yeah, AEW knows how to deliver. So, we got some other stuff to cover. Our Knicks is there, the WBC. We got a lot to cover, brother. Let's lead me into the next segment.
Let's get into it, guys. But we got to lead off with the World Baseball Classic. As we mentioned, it concluded. As of this recording, we don't know who won. But I think we can guess. We can make a hopeful assumption. But we're going to talk about the tournament all together. So let's get into it, y'all. This is Water Cooler Talk. All right, y'all. This is Water Cooler Talk. This is where we huddle around the water cooler and we talk about what's up in we talk about what's up in sports around the world. And guys, we got to talk about the World Baseball Classic. The World Baseball Classic, super producer David and I have talked about it last week. We mentioned how great the World Baseball Classic has been. I mentioned going to the game, DR, how the place was rocking, how the crowd has been crazy. But, brother, we just witnessed the game a couple nights ago. 2 powerhouse countries. The United States, DR, I believe every I think outside of Austin Wells, every player that played that was in the starting lineup for both countries have made an all-star appearance. This was must-see TV. You got Paul Skeens going against the juggernaut of a lineup of DR. You got Luis Severino, who we're very familiar with. A lot of our viewers are very familiar with being with the Yankees, being with the Mets. He started. So, brother, this was we could talk about, obviously, the Cinderella story of Italy. Italy getting the win against Puerto Rico. Venezuela beating the juggernaut of Japan. But we got to talk about U.S. and DR because that was the must-see game of the entire tournament, bro.
Brother, this is the most stacked lineups I think we've ever seen in a W World Baseball Classic. I think I don't want to abbreviate. Um, but you have Judge, you have Soto, but it doesn't stop there. But as we can talk about all the hitters, right, and all the lineups, the thing that you could bring out of this matchup is the low scoring. Like you're over here thinking like we're gonna see bombs, we're gonna see a crazy score, maybe 10-9, right? No, we ended up
Right.
getting a pitcher's duel, or at least a good pitching matchup, where we end up with a score of 2-1, and there are a lot of things that we have to cover with this game, but you have to appreciate these two countries bringing their A game with the pitching when you have so much at stake. You have Judge going up to the lineup. You have Soto. You have Cabrera. You have so many people who are just like, oh my god, who do you want to throw to? Because you don't have any favorable lineup like matchup there.
Yeah, look, you mentioned it. You looked at, on paper. I'll be honest. I didn't see the game going 2-1, but I also didn't see the game going, 12-10, because I just felt like one, Dr. or crazy that Dr. was playing it in the phenomenal they lineup. I also was telling people you're also not playing Nicaragua and those sort of countries. Like, you know, um, you're playing major league players. Both countries' entire rosters filled with MLB players. We even seen it like Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's lineup had some minor league players, or they're highly touted, but they were minor league players. These two countries were stacked with big leaguers, all stars at that. And you gotta shout outs to the pitching though. Shout outs to the pitching. Paul Skeen, 4 1/3. He held it down. He gave up 6 hits, but at the end of the day, he gave up 1 run, and that was the home run that he gave up to Junior Caminero. And then Severino, 3 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run. He had 6 strikeouts, so he had a little bit more success with the strikeouts. And then obviously the bullpen just did their thing for both countries. Rogers came in scoreless. Jax, Bednar. Bednar looked a little shaky. Yankee fans, I was just saying this might be a sign of things to come, and we're going to get into that with the previewing of the Mets and the Yankees next week. But David Bednar, although I like him, he could get shaky at times. And he got shaky in that inning. Garrett Whitlock came in an inning. Obviously, he does what he does best. He's done it for the Boston Red Sox. And then you got Miller, who's a phenomenal lights out kind of closer. That he even struggled. But we got to talk about some key plays. Aaron Judge, guns out Fernando Tatis. That changed a lot. And I want to talk about Aaron Judge for a sec, because a lot of our fans are New York Yankee fans and Met fans. So a lot of Met fans hate on Judge. A lot of, they want to troll on Aaron Judge because the conversation is Aaron Judge's performance, right? So, a very good friend of ours, our boy Wells, he kind of alluded that, Aaron Judge, Aaron Judge ain't done nothing, right? And I'm like, bro, like at the end of the day, Aaron Judge had a hit. Not only did he gun out he gunned out Vlad Guerrero. Tatis. He got a base hit. He was robbed of a homer. So you think about it, he made a diving play against Juan Soto. So I was like, yeah, is he batting to 300? No, he's batting 261 with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. But my problem is this. He said, and then he wanted to gloat, my man Juan Soto. And I'm like, but wait a minute. Juan Soto, he didn't light it up against the United States. He goes, oh, well, it was just that game. Juan Soto, 261, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. You tell me if that's not the same damn numbers and why the narrative is different with Aaron Judge. Because this narrative is out there that Aaron Judge, because they show when Aaron Judge struck out in Italy. Oh, Aaron Judge does what he does best. Strikes out in tough situations. And I don't want to make this a Yankee-Mets conversation, but Juan Soto grounded to a double play when it was a big-time situation for DR in that game. So I just wanted to highlight that.
I'll bring this up. The fact is that Juan Soto is completely in regular season form in the way that he's performing as of right now. You won't see Juan Soto until maybe June, July, where he starts to heat up. I think we're exactly seeing what we should expect from Juan Soto these first 2 months, and when the baseball season starts. So he's in regular season form. I'll say that. But,
yeah, both batters batting .261. Both had 2 home runs. Both had 5 RBIs.
yeah.
And I'm not saying Soto had a bad classic. I'm not. I'm just saying
He had a bad game in the USA game.
You can't crap on Judge when your guy got the same numbers. And Judge, arguably, the United States played better competition. Let's just be honest. Let's call it a spade a spade. Not taking away from the powerhouse DR. I picked them to win it. But they also played Israel, who's not beating them. Nicaragua, who's not beating them. The Netherlands, yeah, they got a good couple quality MLB players, but nobody's, you know what I mean? So it's like DR, look, they faced big leaguers, and you saw it. It was a big league game, big league pitchers getting out big league batters getting to big league pitching. It was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. I think it was one of the best games. I personally like those kind of games, brother. I like the 2-1, 1-0 games. I just feel like every pitch, although, yes, every pitch means something in high leverage games like that. But I felt like in those games, every pitch matters. Every pitch. And we saw it, obviously, the final strikeout, the low call with Perdomo. And that's tough because, obviously, the World Baseball Classic is always behind with MLB. Obviously, we know coming into this season, they're going to implement ABS. I'm pretty sure Perdomo would have won that challenge. You know what I mean? So I know, like, it leaves pause. It leaves a bad taste in the mouth that it ended that way. But who knows? Miller could have, Tatis could have popped fly the next pitch, and the game would have been over. But it kind of sucks that the game ended that way. I will say that it did suck that they ended that way.
You always hate to see a game, no matter what the sport is, when it comes to a controversial call, and that's what the deciding factor is. But let's be honest, brother. You had 9 innings, right?
Both teams had
you had 9 innings.
Situations to open it up. Yeah, 100%.
So you took the opportunity that you did, and you left it up to that one pitch to be the deciding factor. No, I'm not going to buy that crap. I really not. I wanted to curse, but I'm just not buying it. Look, right. You had a whole game to perform. DR is the powerhouse that everybody was scared of facing. Everybody knows that this was the lineup. They were the heavy favorites. We all know that. So the fact of the matter is that you came up flat, and don't get me wrong, you came up flat against Paul Skeens, and it's great, like for Paul Skeen going into the season, like, all right, this is the competition I faced. I could face anything now. You can't tell me this guy doesn't want to go and get himself a Cy Young after that.
So you that's a great segue, right? Because I kind of wanted to talk about that, right? Because I was looking at this, and it's like everybody's clamoring for Paul Skeens, right? Obviously, who wouldn't want Paul Skeens, right? But when you get a pitcher like that, obviously you look at Pittsburgh and you go, he's not playing in high leverage games in Pittsburgh. How would he fare if he were to get traded to the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Dodgers? How is he going to react? How is he going to pitch in those high leverage games? And I'm going to be honest, we saw it here. And I thought he looked good. He didn't look Paul Skeens like, obviously, but this is also a game in March. You know what I'm saying? So
and
if he
also
gave us this kind of performance now, imagine a performance in October.
And brother, I will say, this is him with a performance against the best lineup he will ever see. Mm-hmm. I will also mention that there's never going to be another lineup like this that he will ever have to face.
Better lineup than that, right?
So, okay, fine. That was his best game. Like, if that was the performance he put on against that team, if I'm the team, I'm like, all right, I got all the proof that I need. What do you want, Pittsburgh? What do you want? Because I'm making it happen.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the other games. Japan lost to Venezuela. That was a tough one. That was a tough one for them. I personally was rooting for Venezuela. I'm just tired of the glazing that MLB gives Ohtani, and you got people who are saying that. The Classic set it up where the United States and Japan can only meet in the finals. And that sort of thing. And I find that I find that more than a coincidence. I think that's exactly what MLB and the World Baseball Classic people wanted. They wanted that rematch of Otani in Japan versus Judge and the Americans, and Venezuela rained on their parade. Shoot, Italy rained on a lot of people's parade. Puerto Ricans. We were hoping at least, hey, maybe we can get to the semifinals, see what happens. And Italy showed out. Italy beat Mexico. So shout out to Italy. Right now no one saw this coming. No one saw them coming out of pool play. They ended up 4-0, right? Shout outs to Jorge Posada, Francisco Cervelli, former Yankees. That Cervelli's the manager. Posada's one of the coaches. I know a lot of Puerto Ricans were tight at Posada, but who knows? We don't know if Posada was even offered a coaching position for Puerto Rico. We don't know that. So you can't come at Jorge Posada. Outside, I don't think the coaches need to be affiliated to the country or have anything. Because look, Dusty Baker managed Nicaragua. But
look at Team Italy, which is basically Team USA Part 3.
Yeah.
So
exactly,
you can't be upset at the coaches.
No, 100%. So that leads into, obviously, we talked about how exciting this World Baseball Classic is. It's been exciting, and shout outs to whoever wins, whether it's USA or right now Italy's up 2-0 against Venezuela as of this recording. But I want to talk about two players because they highlighted something important, and I think something we should talk about, because this conversation, it doesn't get brought up as much in basketball with the Olympics, and I'm going to get to why I think so. But I want to talk about this conversation of what's more important, the World Baseball Classic or the World Series. I think that's the elephant in the room. What's more important? Obviously, in the NBA, that's not much of a discussion when it comes to the gold medal and the NBA Finals. And I think it's because America's dominance of the Olympics in basketball has conditioned basketball fans to think that it's very easy and very obtainable. So people don't value it. It's like when Melo retired, they try to, Melo don't got no rings. But it's like, Melo's a multiple-time Olympic gold winner. And it's like, okay. Remember that commercial that they made when Melo was still playing? Oh, but he was like, I want a gold medal. That means nothing. And I think now that mindset has creeped into the World Baseball Classic World Series conversation, because I want to just read one. Obviously Julio Rodriguez, right, brother? He was played for DR, multiple time All-Star. Obviously, young, promising player. He was mentioned. He was asked, paraphrasing, World Series or World Baseball Classic. What would you rather win? What's more important? Yada, yada, yada. And he stated, I love the Mariners. They know I give my best for them every single time I step on the field. But winning the World Baseball Classic is on the top of the list. Now that can mean two things. That can mean it's on the top of his list now because he's currently playing for that. I don't think that's what he meant, and then people kind of took it wrong too. You got some people who said, "Oh wow, this is what's wrong with Seattle. It's because he doesn't want to play in Seattle." Yada yada yada. And then let's get to now Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, he made a statement about the atmosphere in the World Baseball Classic being better than the World Series. He said, the World Series I was in versus the crowd here and the one we had in Mexico, so he's meaning the crowd in Miami after the game with DR, it's bigger and better than the World Series. So now I'm going to go to you, brother. Two-parter. Your take. And guys, Dave and I did not discuss this. I don't know where Dave's going to go with his answer. And Dave probably doesn't know where I'm going with mine. But one, brother, do you have a problem with players making the World Baseball Classic more important than the World Series? Is it more important than the World Series? So I guess it's three questions, right? And then the third one is the World Baseball Classic more exciting than the World Series?
So I guess you could, it depends on the first part. Sorry, your first question. It depends on the player. So for Julio Rodriguez, He's a person who who comes from Loma de Cabrera, Dominican Republic. This is a guy the town is on the borderline of Haiti, and we already know the Dominican Republic, baseball is king as far as sports. There's no other sport that even comes close to that country, and that is that is usually the ticket out for most of those guys playing baseball. So when you're talking about a Julio Rodriguez, I think that context matters because this guy played his butt off to get to the league, to get himself out of the situation he's in, to make himself better. So if he can win that championship for his country, well, then this is something that he's always wanted to do. Besides making the major leagues, and we get that. That's something entirely different, I think. But winning it for your country is just as important as the Olympics for these players. That's like other countries, like you mentioned in the other segment, or just a few moments ago, where you were saying, like, USA's dominance makes the Olympics seem so much lower on the totem pole compared to NBA finals, because it's like the best of the best competition is facing in the NBA finals, but in the Olympics we can be playing, I don't know, I'll say France, but France still isn't USA, right? That's just what it is. Where it comes to the World Baseball Classic, there's just a lot more at stake. Now, when you bring up a person like Judge, well, Judge is American, right? This is all he knows. You play for an organization that is known as Titletown, right? You have the most championships, and there's a certain level of expectation once you put on that jersey, what you need to bring. You're a captain. There's another level of what you need to bring in, what you need to say. So what you say is under a microscope. So I think it's really, you can say the atmosphere is different. That's entirely something that we brought up in the previous episode, where we said, you know what, this feels like the World Cup. This feels like that kind of level of excitement that people have coming into this. But when it comes to Judge making those comments, I think it depends on who he's coming from, and his perspective. You got a championship to win. Don't push it off and just say that the World Baseball Classic is a little bit more important to you, or make it at least appear that way. So your second question one more time, brother, before I let it pass it back.
So no, I think the first one was the first one
was the player.
Are you upset? Do you agree with the players? Or are you upset with them making the World Baseball Classic, I guess, more important than the World Series? Is it more important than the World Series? And is the atmosphere better than the World Series?
Okay, so then I answered both. I guess, my bad. Just making sure.
You probably you answered pretty much all of them. I'll say this, and I agree with you. And Venezuela just made it 2-1. I'll say this. This is where us as Americans, we contradict ourselves. Because when a player, you look at the Winter Olympics when obviously you had, I don't know if they were skiers or whomever. They were excited. They won the gold medal. They had mentioned something like, they just not too crazy about their, what's going on in the country, and then they got ridiculed for that, right? It's like, no, you got to be country pride. You got to be proud of your country. This is the highest honor to represent, which I agree. The highest honor is to represent your country. So why the hell are you upset that Julio Rodriguez said he wants to prioritize and make the World Baseball Classic number one? Why should Seattle fans be upset? Why are you upset that he's gonna upset Seattle fans? When if it's an American going for a gold medal or whatever the case may be, we're like, no, this is the highest honor you have, is representing your country. And for him, that's what it is. At the end of the day, these guys play the World Baseball Classic for free. They don't get paid for this. They're playing to honor their country. Seattle, although he may love playing there, it's a job. I love Aaron Judge. I love Jalen Brunson. But I do understand, and I know it's still a job. They work for the New York Knicks. They work for the New York Yankees. He's playing for his country. So I have no issues with any player prioritizing the World Baseball Classic over their job. That doesn't mean he doesn't want to win. That doesn't mean just because the World Baseball Classic is first, World Series is second, means that he's just going to play like ass and not want to win, like he's a competitor. But that's the only thing. I have a problem with that, where you say to our athletes, the highest honors represent your country. So when another player from another country basically states that, no, this is the most important, this is on the top of my list to win for my country, we want to ridicule the guy and then go, wow, Seattle must be a shitty organization, or Seattle fans should be upset because this man he's prioritizing winning the World Baseball Classic. That's my opinion on. Go ahead.
That's the problem with that mentality, and that's mostly, and I want to say it's more than just Seattle fans. I want to say that's MLB fans or people who like to.
No, I'm just saying in general. Like, like I don't know what Seattle fans are saying, but this is what they were saying. Like, oh, this is how Seattle fans should feel because their best player is saying this.
I don't like that because that is more so coming from the context of the America's first. And that is what they want to put out there as a narrative.
That's exactly what it is.
America's always first. It always has to be first. You can never put another country because you're American, or at least you get paid in American dollars and you work for an American company, all this stuff. That's the mentality they're putting out there so they can spin their narrative in a different way. That's the one thing I don't like. And we don't get too political here, but that's the kind of bullshit.
Exactly
and I'll blur me. That's the bullshit take that I don't like.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's contradictive. You say it's the highest honor, but when somebody is basically showing that, sharing that, now you wanna you wanna kind of you wanna shit on them. Now, when it comes to the Aaron Judge thing, that's two things. And I see where people are coming from, right? People are, because now like people are saying he said that more like. I took it another way, because this is how people are reacting towards it, is that he's talking about, because, so people are saying they took it as, because the World Series is so expensive, it eliminates the real fans. And I do think that 100%. We all know that. We can go to regular season games, but once it comes to the postseason, they skyrocket. We see that with our Knicks. We're starting to see that with regular season games for the Knicks. Let's just put it like that. There's no reason why I spent $368 for 2 tickets to see them play against the Wizards. But, you know what I'm saying? So, we see that, I think, and it goes back to, brother, what I said, that the guy behind me when I was at the DR game. It's just, bro, it's different. There's no bandwagon when you're rooting for your country, dog. That's the difference. That's the difference. Like, dude, you can't shake it. If you're from that country, you're from that country, whether you watch it or not. At the end of the day, the World Baseball Classic is going to garner every single being of that country, whether they've watched the inning of baseball or they haven't. That's the difference. That's the difference. Yes, I get it. The ticket prices on playoffs, World Series is high. Yes, it maxes out. It eliminates the diehards. However, the World Baseball Classic is filled with people who are prideful and love their country. This is not a guy who became a Red Sox fan ever since they started winning, so now he's going to a Red Sox Yankee game. You know what I mean? That's the biggest difference, I think. I think people should be taking more of that take, and I think that's what Aaron Judge meant. I don't think Aaron Judge, unfortunately, I wish he was thinking that way, and he probably does. But I don't think he was thinking that way in a financial standpoint, brother, because I believe he would have said that years ago. That's my opinion. Right? I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I'm rereading the quote one more time. It says, "It's bigger and better than the World Series." That's what he said. "The passion that these fans have representing their country, representing some of their favorite players, there's nothing like it. You get chills standing there on the line, hearing them announce all the names. It's like the All-Star game, that All-Star team they have on there, this in reference to Dominican Republic. There's nothing that said, hey, I want to win the World Baseball Classic more than the World Series. There's nothing that indicates that. But because we live in a headline culture where things are easily misinterpreted, that's why it was spun around this way. And I hate it because nobody gives the time of day to actually read the article that I'm reading right now, where it has everything stated right there. It's got to be manipulated into whatever narrative people want to make it into. Now, so does it play out that way? Does it play out that way? Do we see later on that, yo, Judge, you were playing a little harder for World Baseball Classic than you were for for a World Series. Could it happen? Absolutely. We can see that. That's something optics could tell us, at least what we see. But I don't believe. I don't buy into it.
But all right, so I guess before we pivot on to the Knicks, what is the World Baseball Classic title more important than the World Series, or vice versa?
I think it depends on the person. So, like
Yeah,
in a Julio Rodriguez
depends on who you
case,
ask. Yeah,
yeah, it's a Julio Rodriguez thing. I see the World Baseball Classic. You're always going to remember in your country. Nobody care. They don't care if you won a Seattle championship, if you won a Houston championship, or a LA championship. But if you won a Dominican Republic championship, you will be remembered in that country for forever.
yeah. I think I agree with you. I think it's like, look, the knock on the World Series, the name itself, and there's been many baseball viewers and fans have said it. Why is it titled the World Series? They're not playing anyone outside of North America, so it should change it. They're not. If anything, the World Baseball Classic, you're playing countries all over the world. So obviously we're conditioned to to that the World Series is bigger. But it's like what you said, brother. It depends on who you ask, and a lot of foreigners are going to side with the World Baseball Classic because they just take more pride. It's more pride. You're representing a country as opposed to a contractual obligation you have to a franchise. And sometimes as fans, we don't want to hear that, and we don't want to accept that. But that's just it. You hear the players sometimes go, "It's a business," and that's exactly what it is. So, although as a fan, I would prioritize the World Series more, but I can't get mad if anybody, or I can't automatically shun somebody if they say they think the World Baseball Classic is more important. I can't. You know what I'm saying? So we'll leave it at that. But guys, you let us know in the comments below. What do you think is more important? Is it the World Baseball Classic? Is it the World Series? Which environment is probably better suited for you as a fan? Where would you rather go to? What would you rather go to? Would it be a World Baseball Classic game? Is it a World Series? I think this is a conversation I think this conversation gets brought up every World Baseball Classic. I felt like it got brought up 3 years ago when it was Ohtani versus Trout, the final out in the finals. I think it's going to get brought up again 3 years from now. I know Bryce Harper mentioned about maybe when the collective bargaining agreement comes up about them playing in the Olympics. I didn't like what he said. It sounded like he kind of tried to kind of belittle the World Baseball Classic. And, but it is what it is. But it's just, thought it would be a friendly conversation, brother, because it is the top of the headlines this week. But we got to get into our New York Knicks because since our last episode aired, we've seen some wonky rotations. One guy has risen and might be back in the good graces of Coach Mike Brown, and another might be getting taught a lesson. Don't know, but we're going to get into it. This is This Week in Knicks.
This Week in Knicks.
All right, y'all, this is This Week in Knicks. This is where we cover our New York Knickerbockers. And not bad. Not bad. From when we aired on Friday, they got a win against Indiana. And they got a win against Golden State. And like guys of this recording, they would have played the Pacers on Tuesday. And hopefully that's a win. Hopefully that's a win in the Garden. But, brother, there's a couple things that I want to talk about with the Knicks. And that's, one, I want to talk about the slow starts first. And because I'm not liking it. You look at, sorry, I forgot to mention the win at Utah. But I think we were recording when they won the game at Utah. They won. We were recording. But I want to talk about the slow starts because, you look at the games from when they lost to L.A., the both Lakers, the both LA teams, the Lakers, the Clippers, Indiana, Utah, Golden State. Those games, very slow starts for the Knicks. That they're, using so much of their energy to get back that one they lost it. They didn't have enough. And, because against the good teams, that's going to be very difficult to do. And you saw it with the Lakers and the Clippers. But then you also saw it in Utah. And luckily, they were able to get back to their senses. The Jordan Clarkson game, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But they did it again against Indiana. Like, it wasn't. Well, the Indiana game was weird because they would go up 8 and then Indiana would bring it back to 2 or whatever the case may be. But then Golden State, you go down as much as 21 points in the first half. Golden State basically got the damn G League roster there. Nobody played. Draymond Green all of a sudden got back issues because his shield for 20 years, Steph Curry wasn't playing. But the thing is like I don't understand. I'm not concerned. But I am frustrated with these slow starts. I'm still seeing Karl Anthony Towns not get the amount of touches he needs. Especially because the thing is, brother, when you see Towns get the ball, they do well. I don't get it.
Brother, this is a Warriors lineup that is held together by tape, gum, and glue. Not even crazy glue, just regular Elmer's glue.
Right.
And the fact that the Knicks struggled against them. And I'm only going to bring up this game because this is the one that kind of pisses me off because this is a game. Right. This is like I think you said it is like a G League team put together. And the fact that they struggle. Yeah. Like the fact that they struggled. You let Guy Santos, 20 points. Quentin Post, 22 points. Brandon, I'm not saying his last name, 25 points. And Gary Payton, 19 points. Brother, this is if this is how the Knicks are gonna play, and I don't want to blow this out of proportion. I don't want to seem like a Knicks fan like the sky's falling. But if this is the way you're gonna play against,
call him Paz Pazimski.
Brandon, his name is Brandon. Yeah. Let's go, Brandon. But if this is the way they're gonna play against a team, and I get it, like it's easy to go to sleep against this matchup and whatever. This is not what you want to see. April's around the corner. I don't want to see that. April's just around the corner. And the fact is that you're putting up duds and you're fighting hard to get back into this game so you can win them. At that point, I would rather... I honestly... You know what? I'm not even going to say it. But the fact is that this is not what I want to see. I don't want to see an L. I'm not even going to say that I want to see an L. I just don't want to see this kind of performance from a team that should be going to the playoffs, that's heavily favored, that's third in the East. I don't get it.
Yeah. It's frustrating because you look at the slow starts, and then, when they get their bearings and then you start turning around and it's like, bro, like, why can't we just start games like this? Brunson said it on his post-show interviews, like, we have to prioritize playing well in the beginning of these games. Now, I get it. It's a 4-quarter game, 100%. But a bad first quarter can set you back. You know what I mean? And they're lucky that, at the end of the day, they were going against a glorified G League team where they were able to, make the necessary plays to get themselves back in the game. But, interesting enough, I thought Brunson had a good game. He had 30 points, 9 of 20 from the field, 10 of 10 from the free throw, 9 assists. And a fan wrote on our Twitter post, on our TikTok, that Jalen Brunson got 30 points on 30 shots. He's such a ball hog. We respectfully wrote back those numbers, 30 points or 9 of 20 shooting, 9 assists. And my question was, what's your ideal Jalen Brunson stat line then? Because we're not winning these games without Brunson having to drop 30. Having to have those kind of games. And I thought he played a balanced game. He shot 20 shots. Like, a star is going to shoot 20 shots. He didn't shoot 30. He got 9 assists. He's got guys involved. But, so I don't understand that narrative. I think now people are just trying to look for anything to complain about when it comes to Brunson. So I just wanted to mention that. But I want to mention that, you talked about this team, right? About April's around the corner, and we getting these slow starts. We still getting Karl Anthony Towns. Look, Towns shot 12 shots, man. 12 shots. Towns should be up there with Brunson, 20. You know what I mean? Jordan Clarkson shot as many shots as almost as many shots as Town. Jordan Clarkson was 6 of 11. But I want to talk about Mikal Bridges because Mikal Bridges right now, we talked about him last week, and I'm trying to be. I'm a Mikal Bridges guy, man. I'm trying not to be these guys talking about picks and all this stuff. And I know I'm being a dead horse because I spoke about it last week, but it's really concerning when you look at the fourth quarter minutes. He played 5 minutes in the fourth quarter against the Clippers, 7 minutes against the Pacers, 5 minutes against Golden State. Right now, Mike Brown, I don't know if Mike Brown lost trust. Obviously, if you're watching the games, and I know a lot of us are, Shamit's in the closing lineup. Shamit is with the starting five. Yesterday, well, obviously we're recording Monday, but the Sunday game against Golden State, Bridges logged the least amount of minutes from the starting five. He played 21 minutes, 7 points, 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. He's shooting damn near 30% from 3. He's shooting under 40%, almost close to under 40% from the field, averaging 10 points. This Bridges, we're not going to win if Mikal Bridges doesn't get it together. I'm hoping that this is more of a I will sit your ass down until you get it together kind of thing from Mike Brown, and hoping that it's not that he lost total trust in Mikal Bridges, brother.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he's leaning, though. I mean, his performances are literally showing nothing. Like it doesn't look like his heart is in it. And I hate to put that narrative out there because I don't know what's in his heart, but I can see what your game is putting up. I can see what you're actually doing for the team, and you're not helping us in any bit. Like Mikal Bridges at this point is supposed to be the number 3. He's supposed to be maybe 2B, if anything. But you're playing like you belong on the bench. And
that's the way Mike Brown got him. Right now.
I mean, and I don't blame Mike Brown for losing patience. I don't blame him for losing confidence in this guy because it's not to say that we don't. Is that do you know what bothers me? Is that like it's not like this is a project where we're trying to figure out what Mikal Bridges is. We're trying to give him a chance. Right. We know what Mikal Bridges is. We know what he can bring when he's on his A game. So what is it that is going on? Do you need rest? Yo, take a week off if that's the case. Like, just get yourself together. Like, I would rather have that than see you out there putting up 7, 11, 5, 7. Like, come on, 0. Like, this is not what I would want to see from a guy who we know, it's obviously out there. It's the narrative. It's the 5 picks. It's all these different things. Well, you don't put up those kind of performances because then you got a guy who ends up being our highlight of the week who goes and shows you why they traded for him and why they make him, like, why he deserves all the bag and why he deserves anything that they got. So it's just, it's annoying. It really is. And I'm not blaming Mike Brown with his patience and confidence being shaken when it comes to Bridges.
Yeah, it just sucks that we got to constantly have these conversations about Mikal Bridges. And, because you already had people who felt like we gave up too much. And obviously, you look at it, yeah, we kind of did. It was a Brooklyn Nets tax. But I'm also not going to be one to keep on harping over it. Like, it happened already. I'm not going to be one of those Knicks fans that continue to do that. The same ones that cry that Dante DiVincenzo's not on the team. You know what I mean? Or Isaiah Hartenstein's on. I refuse to be that fan, brother. I really do. And I refuse to be that guy to harp that we kept giving 5 first-round picks. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to hold Mikal Bridges accountable because he should be held accountable. He got to step it up. You're a big piece of this team. And right now, him not playing fourth quarter minutes is very eye-opening. I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but it's very eye-opening that guys on vet minimum deals are being trusted more in crunch time minutes in the fourth than the guy we traded those picks for and gave the bag to. Now, speaking of veteran minimum, shout out to Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson has earned the trust, like as they say, like what vets are. Vets stay ready so you don't got to get ready. Shout out to Clarkson. Saved us in that Utah game. 27 points. But look at the minutes. 26 on Utah. 19 against Indiana. 22 against 22 minutes played against Golden State. Bro, he had a couple DNPs. And now it looks like Clarkson's back in the good graces of Mike Brown. So it can happen. Like Bridges is going to get his opportunity. I think, but but it is good to see Clarkson because we all know that Clarkson has the ability to put the ball in the basket. And at times the bench, it looks a little shaky. Alvarado's been struggling as of late. You know what I mean? It's not, obviously they're not going to run the offense through Mo Diawara. When he gets his opportunities, he excels. But it's good to have guys like Jordan Clarkson because, as we mentioned, brother, since last season, the Knicks' problem was depth. So if you can get Clarkson back into the swing of things, like I said, then, that's a good problem to have where it's like, who is Mike Brown going to bring off the bench? Because we all know when the playoffs come, the rotation gets shorter. So, and you look at right now, brother, right? You look at this right now, right? I think it's safe to say there's 3 locks in the playoff rotation from bench players. Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, and it's going to be Deuce if we get Deuce back. It's going to be Deuce. I see us playing Alvarado. I think everything else is going to be a game-by-game thing. How is the game being played? I think you get Diawara. You may not. Alvarado, I think you get Alvarado. So it's like, I think that's what it's going to be. But it's good to see that, okay, if we don't play Clarkson a couple games, we also know that Clarkson then can come and drop some buckets because that's what he did. And that's what he's doing right now for the Knicks.
I mean, coming into the season, this was one of the things that we were excited about. We know what Clarkson's game is. We know what he could bring coming off the bench. And there was something that we were missing completely in the years prior as far as going into the playoffs. And, with the hope of at this point right now, as the time of this recording, Deuce McBride is just looking more and more valuable. Like as the time and the weeks go by, like there's a piece that I feel like we definitely need. And Clarkson is definitely one of those guys stepping up. And I mean, I will say this right now. I will not be surprised if we're seeing Bridges coming off the bench once Deuce is back.
Oh, I don't know about
I
that.
know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a one-match lineup. I'm not saying it's the lineup going forward.
Mike Brown mentioned that like he doesn't want to change the lineup, but he will be open to it considering, the situation. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's tough. That's tough. I don't know how I feel about that because I feel like that's a drastic change when you take somebody like that out. That's why I didn't agree with the Josh Hart thing. And I think if I'm gonna take anyone out, I'm not gonna put Deuce in the lineup. I would have the double big with Mitch. If I were to take out,
if you were to take out Bridges,
if I were to take out Bridges, but then my thing is, if you take out Bridges, right? Hypothetically speaking, now you got 2 guys that can stagnate the offense, that can kind of make it rough with Josh Hart and Mitch. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough situation. I just think, I don't know, like you said, I don't know if Mikal needs a break. I don't know if he needs a game off or, you know what I mean? Like, but he's got to get it. He has to find a way. When your 3 balls not hitting, bro, you got to find other ways to impact the game. You know what I mean? And I felt like he did that in the postseason. And I know people could go, but that was last year. But that's the reference point we got. We have to. That's what we have. We saw what he did. He made himself a lockdown defender in the playoffs. He did the intangibles to, when he wasn't getting 20, 25 points. I think he needs to go back to that, man. And because right now we can't go into the playoffs. I don't care who we're playing in the first round or whatever. We can't go into the playoffs with Mikal not playing, being unplayable in crunch time fourth quarter minutes. So,
or this effort. We can't go in the playoffs with this effort in general from the team because it's not just a Bridges problem. It's a team problem.
Yeah. And right now, as of this recording, the Knicks are 2.5 games up on Cleveland, and they're a game behind Boston, 5 behind Detroit. So, look, man. At the end of the day, the Knicks are in good shape. If the playoffs were to start, we would be matched up with Toronto. The Orlando Magic, bro, they balling right now. They won 7 straight.
In a streak.
They won 7 straight, 10 games over 500. Right now, Boston is, I think, down 2. I think they're up 2 against Phoenix. So hopefully Phoenix can get it done for us. But guys, let us know in the comments below. Are you concerned with Mikal Bridges? How you guys feeling about Jordan Clarkson? Overall, what's your take on the Knicks? Knicks fans are just so weird, man. Like, I just think I'm watching Shameless, bro. I'm watching the show Shameless. I think you would enjoy it, bro. It's hilarious. But it's just a dysfunctional family, right? That, they just, there's people that they don't accept the good because they're so conditioned that it's going to go left. Like, things will go left, so they just don't accept when things are good. That's Knicks fans. Like, Knicks fans are just, what is that saying? You just waiting for the hat to drop. What is it, right? It's
the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, the shoe to drop. Yeah, that's what Knicks fans are. And it's just like, I refuse to stress myself out because it's gonna get stressful in April when it's playoff time. So it's like yes, am I a little frustrated with how we're starting and that sort of thing? Yeah, but I'm not gonna stress myself out. We got the win. I'd rather take an ugly win than a very bad loss. You know what I mean, or a pretty loss. But brother, let's get into some wrestling because AEW put one heck of a show on over the weekend in Los Angeles. And we got to talk about it. So, y'all, let's talk wrestling.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
Let's talk wrestling, guys. Yes. This was super producer Dave and I. We're talking about some wrestling, and we got to cover AEW Revolution because they had a phenomenal pay-per-view over the weekend on Sunday night in LA, Crypto Arena, home of the Los Angeles Lakers. A sellout. I believe it was over 11,000 fans in the building. Brother, AEW. Let's just put it like this, y'all. If y'all have never seen an AEW pay-per-view, it is completely night and day from WWE. WWE has usually about 4 matches. If it's WrestleMania, they might have 6. Where AEW had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 matches on the main card. So this is the pay-per-view started at 8. They had 12 matches. I believe the event, I think it finished at 12:30. I think it was 12:36. I think so. It was 4.5 hours. You definitely get your money's worth. I'll tell you that compared to a WWE event. But brother, I'm gonna be honest, man. This show was good from the beginning of the bell. They had the 20-man battle royal for the national championship that started in 0 hour, led into the. I love when they do that because it's like, you got the pyro going while the guys is wrestling, and then you had the tag matches. We got new champions, with the women's tag match, Megan Bayne and Elena Cross beating the Babes of Wrath. You got the return of Adam Copeland, also known as Edge, and Christian when they came back after FTR beat the Bucks in a crazy tag match. Moxley, Takeshita, Andrade, Bandito, Brody King, Swerve, Tony Storm, Marina Shafir. You get Ronda Rousey coming out. You got Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, 6-man tag, Tekla and Chris Statlander, and the best out of 3-4. She wins her title. And then you got the Texas Death Match, brother, with MJF, the champion, Adam Hangman Page. That was not for the weak at heart. Like, if you are not into blood, pain, and suffering, do not watch that match. If you love all that stuff, you're going to love that match. Brother, I'm going to go to you. Which match you enjoyed the most? And just your overall take on this pay-per-view.
I want to say the match that I enjoyed the most was the one with Bandito and Andrade.
Yeah, that was good.
That was the match I've been looking forward to for weeks. That I even had it confused. I thought it was going to be on a Dynamite, and I was like, let me make sure I'm done with everything that I need to do for the Ozone so I can watch fully AEW Dynamite when it comes on. And then I was like, wait, no, it's actually going to be on Revolution. That match was solid. Bandito was widely known as one of the best wrestlers of 2025. Andrade is a wrestler that we both and the rest of the group chat can agree. We feel like he should be all the way up here. It's just, I think, the language barrier that always has held him back, but that guy can go. So this was one of my favorite matches, but after watching the full thing, you can't say that MJF match and Hangman wasn't one of the best Texas Death Match you've ever seen. So I would say that's probably my second place.
The syringe part and the mouth.
It's sick. It's definitely a pay-per-view for the sickos.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's definitely like you don't want your kids watching this. And if you are a fan of like the ECW days, take that up just a little bit more up a notch. And this is what you're getting in the current day. What like Omar said, you're gonna, and we said it before, you're gonna get your money's worth when you're watching the AEW pay-per-view. You get a little bit of everything. You have the stuff going on with like famous people. Like you have what's that kid's name? The Big Boom and
Big Boom and the
Rizzler, Big Justice, and those. Like, you get those people get in there. You have a Ronda Rousey who surprises everybody and comes back to wrestling for another company, but she comes out. And then the comebacks. You have Adam Page and Christian Cage who come back, and they're like, you know what, we're going to challenge for the belt. Something we've been wanting for a while. I've been wanting to see Edge and Christian together for a while.
And I like that they didn't rush it. They didn't rush into that, because that could have been the easy money grab. Like, no offense, TNA did it with the Hardys when they got the Hardys back. When Jeff came to TNA, they instantly put the titles on them. Nah, like
and Will Ospreay.
And then Will Ospreay came back, and he had
AEW's heating up.
He got his neck confused in September. Came back. Nah, I agree with you, bro. Like at the end of the day, like, if you're a wrestling fan, dog, like we've said this countless times, bro. It's okay to like both companies. It's okay to criticize and critique when the company's not doing well. At the end of the day, we've always said, we talk about it on the group chat, like AEW, they wrestling 100%. They got to work on the stories, and they've done a much better job at that. You know what I mean? But I also think AEW struggled a couple years because a lot of their guys were hurt. They got a lot of their guys back now. Everybody's back. And that could be a bad thing for certain people because then, it's just not enough TV time. But you look at all the stars, bro. Like, this is WWE production, bro. It was 4K, like the 8K cameras. When they were coming, walk into the ring, like, you're gonna get that product. You're getting WWE production. But then if you're a wrestling fan, you're getting the matches. You're getting your money's worth, man. Like, this was a great show. This was really a great show.
And I
match
think,
after match, you didn't get them whack-ass promos. You didn't get whack ads previewing another future PLE or pay-per-view. You got banger after banger after banger, as you said, bro.
And I think, like, there's no problem with saying you're a WWE fan. But admit that you are a WWE fan. What I would say that. Like, you can say, I like wrestling, right? But if I tell you, hey, do you want to watch this? Like, you don't have to. You don't have to like it. You don't have to be a new fan of it. If I just ask you, hey, do you want to watch this clip of a match that I really want you to watch? And you say, nah, I'm not into that. Well, then you don't like other wrestling. You just like WWE, which is perfectly fine. It's your prerogative. And then if you don't like the matches like a Texas Death Match, which was what we got with Hangman and Hangman and MJF, then you're perfectly fine in saying that because I get it. That is not for the faint of heart. My wife just kept looking away every time she looked at the screen. And I'm pretty sure if your wife was watching with you, Omar, she probably would have left the room but at some point. So
she was sad DR lost.
Yeah, so she was already like tuned out. So I don't knock anybody for saying that that's too much for them. I get that. Yeah. But if you are a wrestling fan, if you are open to seeing more of a product of wrestling, please give AEW a shot. Like, it deserves at least a little bit of your time just to see. You might like it. What's the worst that can happen? You like another product? Just give it a shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought it was a great show. And it's a lot of action. It's a lot of familiar names, and they brought out. And yeah, look, when you got guys like number one AEW haters like Bully Ray and all them guys, kind of uh praising the show. Not to mean like they word like you got to take their word as gold, but it's just like uh, that's to tell you how good it is that you can't even try to disguise it like anymore. You can't like disguise your hate. Like, no, you just gotta, bro. That's it. It was a great show. That's how good it was. You know what I mean? So, shout out to AEW, man. They had a phenomenal show, and I love that the guys are coming back. Osprey's back. Copeland, Christian is back because AEW got some big time shows coming up. Obviously, they got Double or Nothing. That's already, believe they said, surpassed 8,000 tickets already in the pre-sale, which is going to be in New York City. You know what I mean? They still got All In and Wembley. Like, they got big shows for big matches.
They have Dynasty.
Like that.
They have one
They got Dynasty
in Canada.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I do like that MJF won the title, though. I do think keeping the title on MJF was a great decision. I do know that they booked Hangman Page. I'm calling him Adam Page. Yeah, I've been called Adam Page in a while. Hangman, the Cody step. But I like what Tony said. I loved what Tony said. Tony said in the scrum, it was a verbal contract. He's like, Hangman is a man of his word. I love that because that's playing to the story because we don't know. Hangman can get unhinged. We've seen it in his feud with Swerve. What's going to happen now to Hangman, who's so obsessed with the AEW World title that he can no longer go for it? He might go wonkers and he might go against his word, and that can easily turn into the biggest heel. Wait a minute, bro. You was this guy of honor and integrity, and you just eliminate that for what you're in craze, this desire, this crazy infatuation with the title. I love that. It's telling a story, and that's stuff that we knocked AEW on that they're getting better with. Now, who's next in line for MJF? I love that all the top guys are going for the title. Everybody's gunning for him. Swerve got a big victory over Brody King, but that doesn't take Brody King out of the title picture. As you mentioned, brother, Andrade, big win over Bandito, Ring of Honor World Champion. What's next for Andrade? You know what I mean? I like that they kind of hinted towards Bucks, FTR, Copeland, and Christian. I don't mind that. I don't mind a little three-way tag match. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot. Osprey versus Moxley, they kind of hinted towards that. So it's like, AEW right now is in prime position. AEW has all the momentum. So it's going to bring me to this question, brother, because you see people are kind of, everything that's going right for AEW right now is it's kind of going in the opposite direction when it comes to WWE. Because with WWE, obviously, people were not fans of the booking of Cody winning against Drew McIntyre. Then you saw this past Friday the Randy Orton turn. But that kind of didn't go exactly how I think Triple H planned. They didn't boo Randy Orton. They cheered him. Because fans love heel Randy Orton. And people and WWE fans are fatigued of the white meat baby face Cody Rhodes. They right now, brother, we're gonna have the WrestleMania preview show. We're gonna probably get more into this, but they're creeping towards a situation they were in with John Cena when they made John Cena heel and everybody just refused to boo him. This is gonna happen with Randy Orton because Randy Orton damn near killed Cody on SmackDown, and the man was cheered.
So, WWE is digging themselves in a hole. Yeah. And it is one of their own doing. It is the greed led by TKO and the following of Paul Levesque under that. Yeah, as much as you say you call the shots, I'm pretty sure You have a boss. There's a boss to you, the boss. And this is the fault of TKO going back to the same city because why? Because of money. You're hearing the stories coming out that they're not happy with sales and they're trying to do whatever they can to get people to sell. They have a 316 sale at the moment of this recording. There's a 316 sale to get 31.6% off your ticket. Brother, when have you ever heard of WrestleMania ticket sales?
Right.
That's not this the tickets going on sale. It's an actual sale to buy tickets for the show. You didn't have this problem last year. You never have this problem in any WrestleMania prior to this year. There's a reason why you're struggling.
Even when they were cold, they never had issues selling WrestleMania.
WrestleMania always sells, and it's always been a good product. Even the down years where it was just, well, we know Cena's winning. We know Cena's winning. We know Cena's winning.
Right.
Like, this is such a bad product at the moment, and it's all of their own doing and their own greed. And this is like the perfect time while the iron's hot for AEW to strike. Now, they'll never, at this moment, and I'll say for the next couple of years, they won't match the numbers that WWE puts up when it comes to regular shows during the week or their pay-per-views, PLE, / PLEs. But the fact is that you can grab more fans at this point. If there's anybody who's like, you know what, this wrestling sucks. I'm tired of seeing Danhausen. I'm tired of seeing the same storylines. I'm tired of seeing Cody Rhodes crying. Well, you know what? There is another product. Come to Death Row Records and go check out the AEW. Like, there is such a better look, WWE. You had a great thing going with the bloodline for a few years, and you dug yourself into a hole because that's all you did. You put everybody else on the shelf. Now you put yourself in a bigger hole because of greed, and something has to change.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what they can do to make WrestleMania more exciting than what they're getting. We saw on Raw, Obafemi attack Brock. That would be cool. That'd be cool to see. That's a match I would love to see. I don't know, is it gonna move the needle? But you touched on it, brother. It's greed. Obviously, the biggest mistake they did was running it back in Vegas. That's the first time that's happened since WrestleMania 4 and 5 that it was in the same venue back-to-back years. That was a bad idea from the jump right there. You know what I mean? Because that just revealed everything. That's all, you know what I mean? And now you're seeing that it's not going over well with the fans. Now you want to make all these buy one get one free extravaganza tickets. It's funny how that line from CM Punk is just becoming more and more true. I guess you know what I mean. Like it's just it's the irony of it is insane. Go ahead.
Don't be surprised if we get a Rock Stone Cold announcement hosting to help boost sales as we lead into this.
They're gonna need something.
I don't be surprised.
Rock is filming Jumanji. You might have to tell that man, yo, catch a flight real fast. Come to Vegas.
Yeah, he's a blank check. Here's a blank check. And well, whatever. He's a board member.
Real quick, who got the better? I think I know this answer. What pay-per-views are better right now, AEW or WWE?
AEW. You get 4 or 5 matches, like you said, where WWE thing, you're paying $30 if you're paying legit. And it's just not a great show, at this moment. Yeah. You may not like every match that AEW puts up, but you'll love the majority of it. I'll say that. And you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, PLEs is just a Raw. They're like Raw and SmackDown. You get more matches on SmackDown than you get a PLE. And the crazy part is you're paying for them now. It's different when it was on the network or Peacock. Yeah, you little $10 a month, but you're paying for them now. That's why now, I don't know if you saw, they're kind of eliminating these paywalls now. So if you have ESPN through your cable provider or whatever, now it gives you access to WWE. And because they see it, like their greed is getting to, like their greed, they see it. The numbers are going down. WWE now has asked ESPN, and ESPN obliged that they are not going to be grading their pay-per-views because their pay-per-views have not received high grades. And the company that invested millions of dollars into you to stream your product is grading it like shit. They're not happy. But right now, and that's the way wrestling goes. Like right now, AEW is heating up, and I'm proud of them. And I'm also with WWE. They're not going underwater. We're not saying that, but right now, they are slowly becoming, and I think they will if they don't get their act together. They're going to slowly become 2018, 2019 WWE. And if you've been to a show in 2018, 2019, you wouldn't be making fun of AEW because those arenas were looking a lot like that in 2018, 2019.
Those years are the years
brother,
that led John Moxley to AEW. Let's just point that out as well.
And it led to a lot of people. Right. It led to that 100%. But guys, let us know in the comments below. What did you think of AEW Revolution? The card itself, the matches. How do you feel about the overall state of wrestling and WWE and all this nonsense? But brother, we cannot wrap up a show without sharing the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, y'all. Highlight of the week is going out to Luka the Dawn from the Los Angeles Lakers. The step back fadeaway with 0.5 seconds left. The game-winning shot for the Lakers in overtime, prime time against a familiar foe. I would probably say it's the Lakers boogeyman and Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to the Lakers. At this recording, they've won 5 straight. Luka's been balling. One of those wins was against our very own Knicks, but Luka Doncic, a phenomenal scorer, and he made it look easy. That was a tough shot, but made it look easy. That's the highlight of the week. Tough play, tough spot, but got it done.
Shout out to Luka. Luka, step back, La Jumpa. Brother, brother, this was a great game. The of course, this is the highlight. But that overtime game to get there, everything what's funny? If you're a fan and you're just watching the highlights, you didn't even know that LeBron was on the court until you probably saw him in maybe 1 second flash. That's how much Luka now matters to this team. That LeBron is looking.
Number one. That's
he's looking like the afterthought, which is so crazy just to hear to even me think say those words coming out of my mouth. But the fact is that it's Luka's time. It's Luka's time.
Yeah, shout out to Luka the Don. The Lakers are playing good. Ever since my comments that I said no one sees them as contenders, they've won 5 straight. Yeah. Somebody's listening.
Can you start talking about the Knicks that way?
Yeah, somebody's listening. And somebody's been following our Instagram, y'all, so you know what to do. We are available on all social media platforms. We're available on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and Reddit, y'all. And also, we are also available on audio form through Apple Podcasts and Spotify.